Ladies and gentlemen, let's not pretend. We live in a world where we're constantly trying to decode attraction, connection, and desire. And today, I'm going to share with you the one thing, yes, just one key approach, that, if done right, can ignite a deep desire in a woman within hours of meeting you. No gimmicks, no manipulation, just real talk. Because the truth is, it's not about looks, it's not about money, and it's certainly not about playing games. Emotional safety is the foundation of true attraction, and it's the one thing most men overlook in their pursuit of a woman's attention or desire. When a woman meets a man, her instincts immediately begin to scan for signals. Is he trustworthy? Is he respectful? Is he going to honor my boundaries? Before anything physical can even be considered, these internal questions must be answered. If they're not, the door remains closed, no matter how attractive or charming you may think you are. Most men confuse being emotionally safe with being soft or submissive. That couldn't be further from the truth. Emotional safety isn't about catering to every whim or acting overly sensitive. It's about showing that you are grounded, stable, and mature enough to handle a real connection. It's about demonstrating that you're not driven by ego or desperation, but by authenticity and intentionality. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her guard drops, not because she's weak or easy, but because she senses strength in you. A quiet strength that doesn't need to shout or prove anything. You do this through your tone, your timing, your energy. For example, when she shares something with you, do you actually listen, or are you simply waiting for your turn to talk? When she's telling you about a tough day or an annoying coworker, do you rush to fix it or interrupt with a joke? Or do you allow her to vent, hold space, and acknowledge her feelings without trying to take over the moment? That's the difference. That's the kind of presence that builds trust. And trust is the real aphrodisiac here, not cologne, not compliments, not flashy confidence. Creating emotional safety also means letting go of entitlement. She doesn't owe you affection, attention, or anything physical. But when a man interacts with her without expecting something in return, when he shows genuine curiosity about who she is, and not just what she looks like, that's when her interest begins to spark. Not because she's being manipulated, but because she's being seen. And being truly seen is rare, it's intimate, it's personal, and it's powerful. You show emotional safety when you don't flinch at vulnerability. If she opens up about something painful or personal, don't joke, don't dismiss it, and definitely don't turn it into a moment to show off how understanding you are. Just be there. Let her feel that she's not alone in the room. A woman who feels emotionally held is a woman who begins to imagine herself with you, talking more, spending time, maybe even touching. But it all starts with feeling like she can relax in your presence. If she feels like she has to be on guard, protect herself, explain every emotion, or overthink every response, she'll never allow herself to get close. That's why so many men miss the mark. They rush the process. They try to prove their worth too quickly, trying to impress rather than connect. But attraction is a slow burn, especially for women who value substance. If you can be the man who understands this dynamic, who understands that emotional safety is not just nice to have, but necessary, you will find yourself in situations where the energy between you and her flows effortlessly, where she starts leaning in without you pulling, where her body language shifts, where her voice softens, where her eyes stay on yours a little longer than before. Not because you played a game, but because you created a space where she could let go. And the beauty of this is, once she feels emotionally safe with you, everything else follows naturally. Conversations get deeper, laughter comes easier, touch becomes instinctive. Barriers melt, and in that space, desire doesn't need to be chased. It begins to rise on its own, because the foundation is already there, built on trust, respect, and emotional clarity. Being present isn't just about sitting across from her or nodding while she speaks. It's about giving your full attention in a world that's constantly pulling it away. In today's digital age, where everyone is distracted, multitasking, or half listening, presence has become a rare and attractive gift. When you're with a woman and you're truly present, she feels it in your eyes, in your body language, and in your energy. She knows you're not thinking about the next text, the next move, or what you're going to say when she stops talking. She knows that, for this moment, she has you entirely, and that level of focus is intoxicating in the best way. So many men show up physically, but never emotionally. They're looking at her, but they're not really seeing her. They're nodding at her words, but they're not absorbing the message behind them. Women are intuitive. They can tell when a man is performing rather than engaging. They can sense when you're rehearsing your lines in your head instead of actually feeling the rhythm of the conversation. Presence is not just about what you say, it's about how you show up, how you listen, and how deeply you care to understand. And the moment a woman realizes that you are fully tuned in, that your energy isn't scattered or split, she begins to feel connected in a way that stands out from the noise of everyday interactions. True presence also reveals confidence. When you can sit with silence and not rush to fill it, when you can let a moment breathe instead of panicking to keep her entertained, you're communicating that you're comfortable with yourself. You're not trying to impress her every second. You're letting her experience you, slowly and genuinely. That alone sets you apart, because most men come into interactions with a performance mind, set trying to be funny, trying to be dominant, trying to be desirable. But when you're truly present, you're not trying to be anything, you're simply being. And that authenticity can be more seductive than any rehearsed pickup line or expensive cologne. It's also in the way you respond to her. Are you responding out of genuine interest or simply to sound smart or charming? A woman feels valued when her words are reflected back to her, not just repeated, but responded to with thought and emotional intelligence. If she talks about something she's passionate about, do your eyes light up? Do you ask questions that go deeper, or do you gloss over it and move on to your next topic? Presence isn't passive, it's active engagement. It means diving into her world for a moment and making her feel like what she has to say matters more than anything else in that room. It also means being mindful of your body language. Are you facing her? Are your shoulders relaxed? Are you giving her the kind of eye contact that feels warm rather than invasive? So much of presence is nonverbal, and a woman picks up on those cues instinctively. Your stillness, your steadiness, your lack of fidgeting, all of it communicates something powerful, that you're not looking to escape the moment, that you're not elsewhere mentally. You're right here with her, and that makes her feel grounded, safe, and seen. And the irony is, when you're fully present, you begin to notice more too. You catch the subtleties in her tone, the way her eyes widen when she's excited, the pauses when she's unsure. You begin to read her emotional cues, and that makes your responses more aligned, more thoughtful, more impactful. Presence makes you sharper, more aware, more attuned, not just to her, but to the entire dynamic that's unfolding. And when she feels that, when she experiences the rare comfort of someone who's not rushing, not pretending, and not distracted, she begins to open up without even realizing it. Her guard lowers, her tone shifts, and suddenly, the conversation isn't just talk, it's connection. A real human, soul-touching connection that she doesn't want to end, because in that moment she feels fully alive, fully heard, and fully wanted without you ever needing to say it in words. Confidence without pressure is one of the most attractive energies a man can radiate, and yet it's so misunderstood. Real confidence doesn't try too hard, doesn't rush, and doesn't come from trying to prove anything. It's not about flexing your achievements, showing off your body, or bragging about your lifestyle. True confidence is quiet, grounded, and secure. It speaks for itself in your posture, your tone, your decisions, and most importantly, in how relaxed you are in your own skin. When a woman senses that you're comfortable with who you are, without needing her approval or her reaction to validate you, she begins to feel something stir within her, a curiosity, a desire to know what makes you so settled, so self-assured, so clear in your presence. But what elevates that Confidence to a magnetic force is the absence of pressure. Women are incredibly tuned in to energy, and they can feel when there's a hidden agenda beneath the surface. They know when a compliment is genuine versus when it's a tool to get closer to them. They know when a conversation is flowing naturally versus when it's being directed toward a goal. And nothing shuts a woman down faster than feeling like she's being led, manipulated, or cornered. That's why confident men who don't pressure are so rare and so powerful, because they represent emotional freedom. They create space for a woman to explore her own attraction without being steered or coerced. When you're confident and patient, you're showing her that your value doesn't depend on the outcome. You're not trying to win her over with tactics or timelines. You're not trying to escalate every moment towards something physical. Instead, you're just there, fully present, fully calm, and fully open. And because there's no urgency, no expectation, she starts to feel relaxed. And that relaxation, that emotional ease, is where attraction begins to grow on its own. She starts leaning in, not because you pushed, but because she wants to. She feels safe to express herself, to flirt, to explore the connection on her own terms, and this is where so many men go wrong. They think pushing creates progress. They think dropping hints or being suggestive will spark something. But in reality, that energy feels heavy, and it puts pressure on her to make a decision she's not emotionally ready for. True confidence allows the moment to unfold. It trusts that if something is meant to happen, it will organically, effortlessly, beautifully. It doesn't rush, it doesn't beg, it doesn't force. That's what makes it so compelling. Because it gives her space to choose you, rather than feel chosen for you. It also shows in the way you respond when things don't go your way. If she's not available, if she's distracted, if she's slow to respond, you don't spiral, you don't get passive, aggressive, you don't withdraw affection. You remain steady, clear, and unbothered. That steadiness shows that you're not outcome dependent. You enjoy her presence, but you don't need it to feel good about yourself. And that emotional independence, that calm detachment from outcome, signals to her that you are a man who operates from abundance, not scarcity. You're not trying to get something out of her. You're simply enjoying the experience, and that makes her feel free, not trapped. When a woman sees that you're confident but never pushing, secure but never overstepping, warm but never demanding, she starts to feel the space to express her own desire. And that's the key, not trying to make her feel something, but creating the kind of emotional environment where her feelings rise naturally. Desire that comes from freedom always burns hotter than desire born from pressure. When she feels she can take her time, explore her feelings without judgment, and be around you without performance, she becomes more herself. And the more she feels like herself around you, the more she starts associating you with comfort, chemistry, and a deeper kind of emotional intimacy that doesn't need to be rushed or forced because the connection is already building on its own, step by step, moment by moment, and without either of you having to say it out loud. Emotional safety is one of the most underestimated and powerful triggers of attraction for a woman. Yet it's something most men overlook because it's not flashy, it's not loud, and it doesn't come with instant rewards. But when you create emotional safety, you give her the space to be herself without fear of judgment, rejection, or manipulation. You let her express her thoughts without feeling like she has to filter them, guard herself, or say what she thinks you want to hear. And in a world where women are constantly on alert, constantly protecting their hearts, constantly trying to navigate around unwanted pressure, a man who makes her feel emotionally safe stands out like a breath of fresh air. He becomes the exception, not the rule, and that's exactly what makes him so desirable on a level she may not even fully understand at first. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her walls start to come down, and that's when the real her shows up. Not the version that's cautious or guarded, but the version that's playful, vulnerable, sensual, and alive. You begin to see the parts of her that she doesn't share with everyone, The side of her that laughs freely, that shares deeply, that looks at you with eyes that say more than words ever could. And the reason she feels free to go there is because she knows, on a gut level, that you're not going to use her vulnerability against her. You're not going to shame her for her past, interrupt her emotions, or twist her openness into an opportunity to get something from her. Instead, you're listening without fixing, supporting without suffocating, and holding space for her without needing her to be anything other than what she is in that moment. It's in how you respond when she talks about something that matters to her. May be something painful, confusing, or even embarrassing. Do you dismiss it? Do you change the subject, or do you sit with her, look her in the eye, and give her the gift of your full presence and empathy? Emotional safety is built in those subtle moments, in how you react when she takes small emotional risks. If she tells you something personal, and your face shows patience instead of judgment, if your words reflect understanding instead of advice, she begins to trust you. And that trust doesn't just make her feel closer. It makes her feel more drawn to you in ways she can't easily explain, because emotional intimacy is the foundation for physical intimacy. Even if many don't consciously connect, the two women aren't just looking for someone who can make them laugh or look good in photos. They're looking for someone who can hold their emotions without flinching, someone who can see the messy, beautiful, complicated parts of them and still stay. That kind of emotional steadiness is rare, and it's unforgettable. When you offer that without asking for anything in return, you create the kind of emotional security that allows her to let go, to lean in, to relax into her feminine energy without worry or doubt. And that's when everything begins to shift. The tone of your conversations, the way she touches you, the way she starts to look at you when you're not paying attention, and all of this happens without you having to push, convince, or perform. It happens because emotional safety is like oxygen. It's invisible, but the moment it's missing, everything feels tight and uncertain, and the moment it's present, everything opens up. Her smile gets softer, her body language changes, and her words begin to flow. You stop being someone she's just spending time with, and you start being someone she emotionally connects with, someone she starts to trust with her truth. A network error occurred. Please check your connection and try again. If this issue persists, please contact us through our help center at help.opare.com. Playful energy is one of the most underrated yet powerful dynamics in sparking instant chemistry with a woman, and not the kind that comes from rehearsed jokes or trying too hard to be funny, but the natural, light-hearted vibe that makes her feel like life around you is less serious, more alive, and full of possibility. It's that energy that says, you're safe with me, but you're also going to have fun. And that fun doesn't have to mean being the loudest guy in the room. It comes from a twinkle in your eye, a teasing comment said with warmth, a moment of shared laughter that disrupts the usual, predictable flow of conversation. Playful energy breaks tension without trying to be someone you're not. It shows that you're emotionally light, not burdened by needing everything to be perfect or rehearsed, and it allows her to drop her guard because play invites openness, not pressure. A woman who's used to being approached with heavy intentions or over-seriousness immediately feels the difference when you bring playful energy to the interaction. She doesn't feel like she's being interviewed, judged, or assessed. Instead, she feels like she's being engaged, like her presence is sparking something spontaneous and unique. That shift is subtle, but it's massive. Suddenly, she's smiling before she realizes it, leaning into the moment without overthinking. She forgets to analyze everything because she's too busy enjoying the vibe you're creating. And that enjoyment is a gateway. It makes her associate your presence with pleasure, and once that link is formed in her mind, desire begins to grow without force or persuasion. This kind of playfulness is rooted in confidence, not clowning. It's the difference between being light and being silly, between being flirtatious and being foolish. The key is emotional intelligence, the ability to read the moment, to respond to her cues, to know when to dial it up and when to just enjoy the silence between words. Playfulness doesn't mean you're not capable of depth. In fact, the most magnetic men know how to move between light and deep effortlessly. They don't get stuck in serious topics to prove their value, nor do they stay superficial just to avoid real connection. Instead, they dance in the moment, allowing her to feel both emotionally engaged and sensually teased. It's how you make eye contact and hold it with a knowing smile, how you say something that makes her laugh while also making her think. It's how you challenge her lightly, ask unexpected questions, notice something about her that others might overlook, and turn that moment into something shared and exciting. That kind of emotional creativity makes her feel seen and stimulated, not just flattered. And because it doesn't come with pressure, she doesn't feel like she's being led toward anything. She just wants to stay in the moment longer. She begins to feel that being around you means stepping into a space where time slows down, where everything feels more colorful, more interesting, more alive. The truth is, desire thrives in contrast. It needs safety and excitement, depth and lightness, presence and unpredictability. And playfulness is the bridge that connects all of those elements. It disarms the walls she might have built from past experiences and reminds her what it feels like to be in the presence of someone who brings her into the now. It's not about cracking jokes every second or pretending to be overly charming. It's about being emotionally attuned enough to create moments that feel spontaneous, genuine, and full of life. When you can do that, when your energy invites her into something unspoken and emotionally rich, you stop being another guy trying to impress her and start being someone she's effortlessly drawn to. Someone whose presence makes her feel more of herself, more alive, more feminine, more desired, without even needing to be touched or convinced, because the energy between you speaks a language louder than words ever could. And it's in that unspoken chemistry that true intimacy begins to form organically, flowing from the joy and emotional connection that only authentic, playful energy can create when it's allowed to move freely and naturally between two people who are simply enjoying each other's essence without expectation or outcome in mind. Attraction is not a game. It's a dance. If you truly want her to desire you the same day, don't chase the outcome. Focus on making her feel seen, heard, and safe. That's what sparks real, undeniable chemistry. Because when a woman feels emotionally connected, mentally stimulated, and energetically aligned with you, she'll choose you freely and fully. And trust me, when she chooses you, you won't have to ask for anything. It will be hers to offer. So, gentlemen, do this and she'll want you, body, mind, and soul. Thank you.